All right. So for those of you who needed help with coding your icons, I'm going to quickly kind of go through it on my end, which will look a little bit different from yours at the beginning, but should cover kind of the same foundational things. So once you're logged into code.org, what you're going to do is you're going to move yourself to lesson 4 of unit 2. So encoding color images. In class, you've already done all of these different pixelation activities. So you're going to click on part 8 where it says Favicon instructions. You have a digital version of this on Classroom where you've kind of gone through the directions there, but they're here for you as well in case you need them. So remember, we're using the pixelation widget, which is going to be on this next screen. You have to encode with 12 bits per pixel. So this is the box, and I'll show you on the next page as well where you would do that. And it's going to be just those icons that you showed and got approved by me. So if you click continue, right, it tells you all of these directions right here. So requirements. The icon must be 16 by 16 pixels. I added the requirement that it should have at least 3 different colors, and it must be encoded with 12 bits per pixel. So here is my finished product, which I finished coding in class on Friday for those of you who were there and who saw that happen. Right now, this is written in binary. I actually coded this in hex. So what I did is ahead of time, I went through and I have this darker purple, a lighter purple, a pinkish purple, and this blue, plus my brown and black. So I actually have 6 colors that I'm working with. And what I did is even before I started coding, I went and I messed around to try to figure out how to make these colors that I was using. So if you're coding in hex, if you look at the pixel format right here, you can see that coding with 12 bits per pixel means that you're using 3 bits of hex code for each pixel's color. Okay, the first of those 3 bits is going to cover your red. So whether your red is all the way off, which is 0, or all the way on its highest intensity, which is the letter F. Because remember, hex goes from 0 to 9 and then A through F. Your second bit is going to control the amount of green that's coming through. And then your third bit is going to control the amount or intensity of blue. So there's not necessarily a perfect instant system to figuring out which combinations will give you which colors. It really is an experiment. If you would like something to kind of help you, what you can do is you can search hexadecimal color. And I like this one right here, htmlcolorcodes.com. So if you click this and open it, what you're going to get is kind of charts and abilities to move things around. And you're going to actually end up with a 6-bit hex code up here, which doesn't help us completely because remember, we're only using 3 bits of hex. But what it does do is give you kind of a sense of the relative intensities for your red, your green, and your blue pixels. Okay, so right now I can see that for this color, this like sea foamy green, I know that my green is going to be turned almost all the way on. My blue is going to be fairly intense as well, and then my red is still significant, but it's not the biggest influence on this color palette at all. What you can also do is if you look at the 6-bit hex code, if you take 1 bit or like the average of those 2 bits, you can kind of approximate it by using the 3. So I could say, all right, my reds are at 9, 9, and 5, so maybe I'll stick my first bit as like a 7, right? My greens, I've got E and 0, right? So then it's going to be, we'll say maybe like a B, and then I've got C and 7, so again, pretty high, so maybe that's like an A. Okay, so you can kind of mess around with it. It really is mostly experimentation though. So what I would actually do is, hold on, I'm going to copy and paste my whole code so I don't lose it. right? When you start yours, it's going to look like this. It's going to look like this blank chart that's right here. Okay, so what I would do is, as I'm trying to figure out, all right, like which hex colors am I actually getting out of this? If you just experiment with that first pixel, right? If I do 9CA, I get this green, this like light green right here. And if I change it to 9CF, I get this kind of blue, right? So you can honestly just mess around with the different, the different combinations that you can get until you're kind of ending up with those colors that you want. So there, if I paste my code back, I get my actual drawing again. So basically at the end of the day, you are going to have 16 by 16 3-bit hex codes or 16 by 16 12-bit binary codes. And you can easily code in binary or in hex. It doesn't really make a difference. Just with binary, you're going to be doing a lot more ones and zeros. And again, your first 4 digits are going to control the intensity of your red. Your next 4 are going to control the intensity of the greens. And the last 4 are going to control the intensity of the blues. So you really definitely need to have your drawing in front of you as you're doing this. And be really, really careful if you are doing colors, especially like black or white. Remember, your black would be 000, in this case, and your white would be FFF. Because I know it's tempting to just like leave your finger on the 0 or the F key. But the problem with that is if you're not counting your bits, you're going to end up having your code be off by 1 or 2 bits, and you might not be able to figure out very easily where it goes. So my big 2 recommendations: number 1, find your color codes first before you start actually coding your image. And then number 2, make sure you are very intentional about how you are coding. Okay, when you're done, you're going to click Finish, continue to the next stage. You do not have to do these questions. Okay, do not do these. I'm going to make a review for you guys and post it as well for you to start working on. So once you save it, you can exit out, and you can kind of see, I've seen people who are on this page, and I can see on my end, so I'm going to click OK again just to get out of here, the people who have kind of submitted this right here. So if you see that your name does not have a check mark next to it, right, that means you need to take a look at it. So I can see Amira's right now. I can see Aaron's. Right, so if your name is not showing up here, which I know many of you are not, please just make sure you get this to me by Wednesday. Okay, I'll be back Thursday morning to see you guys. So I will see you guys first period on Thursday. And we're going to have to kind of jump right back in since I'm not giving you new work. I'm just going to give you some review stuff to make sure that you're feeling comfortable with RGB color coding and hexadecimal stuff. Okay, if you need me, my surgery is this morning, so I will not really be totally lucid after about 11. But please do send me an email, and I'll definitely get back to you guys as soon as I can. All right, I hope this is helpful.